Well, today is your lucky day. I mean, that's if you're one of those people who looked around in awe. If not, well, it's cool to continue with your bludgeoning, 360 no-scopes, and what have you.
Completed all the easy milestones, you'll need to grind out the more lengthy ones to unlock all the content. This won't be a problem for the games you like, but I personally dread having to complete Attic Attack 3 times over. Hello and welcome to Worldwide Gaming. I'm your host Ryan, and today we are trying something a bit different. As well as our reviews of AudioSurf 2 and Rare Replay, Cameron is back to teach you about making environments in UDK. Stay tuned for that, but first we have the forecast.
We never asked for this, but we certainly wanted it. The next game in the Deus Ex franchise, Mankind Divided, looks to be expanding on everything that made the last game great. It continues the story of Adam Jensen, picking up 2 years after the last game. It's releasing 2016 for current-gen consoles and PC.
The promise of a golden age is over!
Dad by the Sword is about a dad, a sword, and a dungeon. You play as your dad, as he fights his way through a dungeon full of anti-dads, trying to find the Infinity Nut, a dad artifact that provides an endless source of salted snacks. The game is coming out early next year on PC. In Smugglecraft, the player is tasked with several quest-based missions, such as importing illegal contraband or avoiding the police. All of these missions take place on randomly generated tracks. It also features split screen, upgradable hovercrafts, and a branching story with multiple endings. It releases 2016 for PS4 and PC.
AudioSurf burst onto the scene back in 2008. It was addictive, fun, and it allowed you to ride your own music collection. I still consider it part of my essential Steam collection. 7 years later, and Dylan Fitterer has finally made a second installment. Does it build on its predecessor's success, or is it a quick attempt to cash in? AudioSurf 2 allows you to use your own music collection to create the curves, hills, and blocks of the tracks you race on. You pick your vehicle, which determines the specific game type that you're playing, and away you go. While there are different classes of vehicles, they are all variations on the same theme of collecting coloured blocks. You'll steer your craft using the mouse, keyboard or gamepad, and even get access to special abilities with some vehicles. Not much has changed in that regard between AudioSurf and AudioSurf 2. There's a handful of classes that have been brought over from the first game, in particular Ninja Pro and Mono, which are essentially the core classes of the game. At first I was disappointed when I saw a few of my staple game modes were missing, but after spending some time with AudioSurf 2, it has proven to be just as addictive as the original. I now find myself playing hour-long mixes, even with my ever-growing gaming pile of shame looming in the background. For anyone who enjoys gaming and music, I challenge you to tear yourself away from this game once you've got the hang of it. Right now you're probably thinking that this is just another case of game versioning, but it's not really. While they've not added a lot of new stuff, what they have added is quite different. Take quakeboarding for example. At its core it still features the same mechanics, but adds jumps and tricks that modify your score based on what you can pull off. Quakeboarding doesn't quite have the same vibe as the regular modes, and I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it is nice to see that they didn't just do a reskin and label it AudioSurf 2. AudioSurf 2's level generation has been improved by allowing the game to scan your music much more thoroughly. This helps your tracks feel more dynamic, lends more variation between different music types, and allows you to really feel every nuance of your music through the gameplay. Visually, there's been a massive upgrade. It looks really nice, and it also works with Steam Workshop, meaning that if you don't like the new visual style, you can just jump on and pick something else. For veterans of the first game, they've also included the original skin natively within the game, if you're looking for a bit of nostalgia. The performance of the game has also been vastly improved. While neither of the games are frame rate capped, the original definitely had moments even on high-end machines where the frame rate would just dip, which is usually the sign of a poorly optimized game. Audio Surf 2 doesn't miss a beat, and looks fantastic as well. What more could you really want? Audio Surf 2 features leaderboards for literally every track anyone has ever played through the game. Scores don't carry over from the original game, but this does give everyone a clean slate to start with. I found myself playing the most obscure music in my collection, just so I can secure my spot and reign supreme for the next few years. While there's nothing inherently special about the leaderboards, it does add incentive to playing songs repeatedly. I mean, who doesn't want to hold the top spot for Call Me Maybe? In addition to supporting a range of codecs and file types any audiophile would drool over, Audio Surf 2 has also added support for streaming from SoundCloud. This in particular is an awesome way to compete on any of the leaderboards because everyone has access to the SoundCloud tracks, whereas your personal collection won't be owned by everyone universally. Some SoundCloud tracks can take a while to scan, but that often comes down to the length of the song and the quality of your internet connection, so I can't really fault the game for that. Audio Surf 2 is definitely worth picking up. For veterans, the addition of SoundCloud and the performance improvements are totally worth it. For newcomers, it's just a straight up addictive, music adapting puzzle platformer racer that everyone can enjoy. While it might not be Guitar Hero or Rock Band, it also doesn't require the investment in expensive plastic instruments. Just grab the game, load up your collection and start surfing that audio.